I was asking why is it a crime capital, and it was saying extreme wealth inequality. It's just kind of an area where you have a lot of young men who just give up on the system. They're like, no matter how hard I work, I can't make this work. So they just turn to a life of crime.
And then there's people next door who are, multi-millionaires.
Welcome to Entropy. My name's Aman. I'm a YouTuber and entrepreneur.
I'm Aadil. I'm a former quant and current AI engineer.
We're two brothers working in tech and business.
And you're listening to The Entropy Show,
the weekly podcast where we discuss self-improvement,
focus, and the fight against disorder in our lives. This is Entropy.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Entropy. Aadil, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. The weather was pretty bad this week. In SF, it was like raining half the time. You were here last weekend and the beginning of this week. Maybe we can talk about that. But the weather was kind of bad. Actually, you went outside with no jacket. You were standing there in the rain with your t-shirt. And then you're like, oh, dude, I need to find some oasis before we could cross the street. And you
I ran into some like little awning on some random building to protect myself from the rain.
Yeah, like, why didn't you have a jacket? You was like,
I just forgot. So this was kind of a generational week in California where the whole of California was raining. Top to bottom, NorCal, MidCal, SoCal was all raining. We went to Santa Barbara for the holidays with our family. We went to a beach resort to enjoy the nice California weather in the winter. Rained 4 days in a row. Maybe one day it wasn't raining. Entire time. I think there was one day it briefly wasn't raining. The whole time it was raining. Then we went to LA, or I went to LA, raining 3-4 days the whole time. Then I went to SF, raining 3-4 days the whole time.
But I think it's done now.
Yeah, it's done now. And the day I left, it was sunny for the next week.
Yeah.
So essentially I went to California and kind of didn't get the one thing California has, which is the sun. But this kind of allowed me to really objectively assess California. And I kind of realized like the main draw for California is the sun. Right? Because like, I mean, we went there and the way I realized that is everybody was like, dude, this sucks. Like, I hate this weather. All the Californians are really upset that week. I thought it was neutral. Like, I didn't mind. Rain is normal. The weather is bad in the winter. But to them, the main thing that was in California was gone. So they were all really upset and down all the time. They were like, dude, like, weather sucks. Rain, weather sucks. It sucks. It sucks. So it's because the one thing that made their area useful was kind of taken away. So I kind of realized like that's the main draw of California. And while I was there, I was doing like a lot of research using ChatGPT, asking like, because everybody says like, oh, I'm going to move to Florida. I'm going to move to California because the weather's great. The weather's great out there, right? As if it's going to make a big long-term difference in the life outcomes and satisfaction. In fact, I have a lot of friends who discounted every northern state and city in the US because it gets too cold in the winter when deciding where they wanted to go for life, work, etc. So I was doing some research here, like, does this sunshine thing actually matter? And apparently it makes almost no difference when it comes to long-term life satisfaction. Literally no difference.
Probably on average, no difference.
On average. And what I realized is, what the data clearly says, is it makes a difference on day-to-day mood. So like if you ask a guy, it's like perfect sun. What's your, out of 10, like, what's your happiness? Maybe they'll say like slightly more if it's sunny. Right? But usually people hedonically adapt to it within a few months. Right? So let's say someone goes from Iowa to California. Their like baseline mood will be elevated for a few months and then it'll kind of level out. And crucially, it doesn't impact long-term life satisfaction. So the way you assess long-term life satisfaction is with the question, on a scale of 1 to 10, how satisfied are you with your life so far? So let me ask you the question, Aadil. On a scale of 1 to 10, how satisfied are you with your life so far and why?
Well, before we get to that, I think it kind of makes sense because we grew up in Iowa and we just like accepted it as the state of the world that the weather kind of sucks most of the time.
Yeah, it's normal. Right? What's the problem?
Like in Iowa, the weather is, in the summer, it gets really hot, right? Like California, this summer, I mean, it depends where in California, but if you're living on sort of a coastal city, less inland, like, if you're near SF or in Berkeley, or I think even LA for a lot of it, it doesn't get so hot. I could be mistaken, but that's my impression, right? Whereas Iowa in the summer, it gets to like 90 plus, 100 plus sometimes. And then the winter, it goes like sub-zero a lot. So the weather in Iowa is only really great, like kind of late spring, like early fall, right? Those like transition periods. But we just accepted it as fact. We didn't notice as kids.
I don't
it's
remember
winter, there's going to be like a bunch of snow, it's going to be really cold. Like you can't walk outside. We're like, okay, just can't walk outside. Yeah.
I don't remember even once thinking this weather sucks. I hate Iowa because of the weather. Where like I really genuinely don't really remember that at all. Like that didn't color my childhood at all. And if you look at people who live in California, like they're not if weather directly made a huge 80-20 impact on long-term happiness and life satisfaction, you would see a lot of people in I would just see it. Obviously, like there's other contributing factors to that, but I just don't see it with anybody. Like I think everybody hedonically adapts. People are sold this lie that weather, climate, etc. makes a big difference to long-term happiness. It doesn't. But what do you answer the question there? Like, or actually, before we go there, and even one step further, I looked up what the happiest states are in these questions. So the way you assess like which is the happiest states is two questions. One is on a scale of 1 to 10, how satisfied are you with your life so far? That's how you assess satisfaction. And the second is, were you mostly happy yesterday? Yes or no? So those are the two questions. Yeah. They surveyed thousands and tens of thousands of people in all these different states and cities and areas, and then made a score based on that. So I want to ask you before I go into like what the data shows is actually the happiest cities and states based on that. What is your answer to that 1 to 10 question?
Honestly, I think I would rather answer in maybe 6 months because I don't want to like publicly talk about like certain things that affect my happiness, but maybe in like 6 months, I think it would make more sense.
So you don't want to answer that question, essentially?
Yeah. Yeah. Not publicly. Yeah.
Okay, so it's probably low right now, I guess. And you live in California, so anyways.
Anyway, but you realize that like there are also a lot of confounding variables. Like you haven't isolated the weather variable. You haven't taken the exact same circumstances, exact same people, exact same environment, exact same cultural environment, and only changed the weather variable. And then separated that out and like done a proper experiment here or a proper, like causative analysis.
Yeah, for sure.
Because if you argue like, oh, people in California are no happier than like Minnesota's number one or something, right?
So I'll give you the answer here. Like
there are confounding variables. Like California is run by like there's very left-leaning, there's a very left-leaning government here. Some policies probably like decrease people's happiness. If you look at LA, there's a whole, again, this is my impression. There's like all this like, celebrity culture, like fame culture. People are like anorexic because they don't want to like get fat and stuff like that. So I think there's a lot of confounding variables there,
Yeah. So I was looking at this research, and in the top 5 happiest states, as per those two questions, Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, Kansas are in the top 5. What do all of those?
I was probably up there.
I was like 6 or 7. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, just dude, the it's clear. Now, obviously, like you might explain some confounding variables, but I think if people think I'm going to move to California because it'll make my life way better, it's not really proven in the data.
Well, I don't know. Maybe those states are high. We're looking at averages here, right? I think those states have essentially a lower ceiling, but also a higher floor, right?
Yeah.
And maybe the average is higher, but if you look at this floor in California, there's like homeless people everywhere, right? The floor is way lower, but also the ceiling is higher. So if someone makes the argument like, okay, I'm going to move to California and my life will be better from Iowa, they may not necessarily be wrong if they're trying to like push up against the ceiling.
Yeah, I agree with that. But also look at other areas like Florida and stuff. Like, are there really that many homeless people in Florida? You know what I mean? Like Texas.
I think a lot of these warmer areas tend to attract like, not even just homeless people, but if you just look at major metropolitan areas, it generally is going to have a lower floor in terms of like life satisfaction, like life quality, right?
Also think about it this way.
And it's like, if you look at like where we're from, like Bettendorf, there really isn't such a huge like impoverished population. Whereas if you look at like, LA or Chicago, right? There's a huge variance in the distribution. In these metropolitan areas, I think variance is higher.
My question is, why are like impoverished people attracted to warmer climates?
I don't know if they're attracted to it. I think it's generally like the more metropolitan the area is, And then if you look at specifically homeless people, like if they don't have a house, you can't really like sit outside when it's like negative 10 degrees, right? So you can't be homeless when it's cold.
Yeah. I mean, look at Minneapolis. Like Minnesota's in the top 5. Minneapolis is a major metropolitan area. You know what I mean? But anyway, regardless, like obviously there's a lot of like factors here. I think in the research, now this is just like some numbers here. They actually try to isolate like what are the confounding factors that create or what are the actual variables that create this. And the analysis kind of goes to show the reason why these kind of like Midwest, mostly Midwest, in fact, areas tend to be the happiest states is for a couple of reasons. First of all, your fixed expenses to income ratio is very positive, meaning like your rent, like the fixed expenses are a much lower proportion of your income than in California and these kind of expensive areas to live. So like, I mean,
like the same apartment you'll get here for, you know, $4,000 or $5,000 a month, you'll get it in Iowa for like $1,500 a month or $1,000 a month,
exactly,
something like that.
And it's like, do you really make 4 to 5 times more in California? No, right? For the same job, you don't make 4 to 5 times. Maybe make 2 to 3, maybe probably 2,
maximum.
You know, for the
maximum
2. So those they don't scale properly. Like for example, living in an apartment in New York City, it's insane. You'll get studio apartments for like $3,000 to $4,000 a month, right? And in Iowa, you can get a house for $3,000 to $4,000 a month, a good house, in fact, right? So that's a huge thing. The baseline stress is low, and those people have a lot more disposable income to invest in things that they want to invest in. So they just have a lot more disposable income to spend on vacations, to spend on help around the house, for example. So like more people can afford cleaners in Iowa than California just because they have like more disposable income, or going out to eat more often because the prices are just a lot lower, right? Going to the movie theater, right? In places like California and New York, the movie theater costs $20-$30 for a ticket. In Iowa, it's like 8 or 9, you know?
I don't think it's 8 or 9 anymore. I think it's still, I think it's 14. I think it's 14 nowadays.
You can get in for like 9 on a Tuesday.
Dude, you can't get in for 9.
Yeah, so anyway, that's a big thing. That's a huge factor, right? It is better to make less, but your expenses to be lower, so you just feel you can breathe, right? You can exhale for once in your life. Whereas people in California,
yeah, and this is
they're
like
on their
think about
toes
real
at all
estate,
times.
like buying a house. If you want to live in like one of these very popular areas in California, I feel like you need to get like a $1 to $2 million house minimum at this point, right? Like that's kind of the price of a house, right?
Dude, yeah, California price is $1-2 million. That is what it is. That's the
minimum,
price.
That's
of
a house.
Yeah,
minimum.
No wonder Gen Z can't afford. They're forever renters, as they say. You know. Yeah. But think about a house in like, you know, Iowa, Kansas, Missouri, maybe Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, like incredibly cheap comparatively. So, you know, probably 25-year-olds, 26-year-olds can, you know, work their way up to a house realistically.
Yeah, like it's easier to put down a down payment on a house by the time you're married or when you're 30 or whatever.
Exactly. Now, some other factors that create this level of happiness and satisfaction are things like small community. So when you live in a big city, you don't know your neighbor. In fact, do you know any people who live in your building?
I know one guy who lives in my building. I would say like I'm becoming friends with him. Like I'm going to hang out with him.
You kind of a little bit know one guy.
But that was not through like seeing him around in the building. It was through another friend. Just like this guy happened to live in my building. They were like, oh, yeah, cool. We live in the same building. But he just happened to live in my building. It's not like I saw him in the building and then made friends with him.
Yeah. And when you live in a small town, the odds of knowing your neighbors is just way higher. Like you have a much stronger community, right? There's simply less people. So the chances that you meet the same person twice is higher than in a big city where there's infinite optionality, right? A lot of people, infinite options. You see new people on the street all the time, right? So there's a sense of smaller community. People put down roots in small towns, right? Whereas there's a phenomenon in big cities where people are always moving, right? They're coming in, they're coming out. You never know if they're going to be there long term, right? There's always new people around. So the sense of community is less in these big cities and more in small towns. And it's kind of shown that really increases happiness. So and there's also like more family, cultural values, etc. You also just have more charitability to the fellow man, right? When there's less people around. You know what I mean? You just kind of get a little bit cynical when there's a lot of people.
Like you don't view as everyone as an NPC.
Exactly.
Whereas
there's just a sense of shared
in a big city, like there's like you kind of view people as NPCs
because there's too many of them. Like there's just people left and right. Like what am I supposed to do? Say hi to everyone? There's just literally millions of people everywhere. Like you can't even get to know anybody. Like in Iowa,
whereas like in a smaller town, you kind of drive everywhere. You go to the same place. You know, you go to similar places. You meet the similar people, etc. Even in the gym, right? Like if you're in a smaller town, you kind of make friends with people in the gym. Bigger city, gym's always super crowded. Many people going in and out. There's a high, there's just a lot of people going in and out. Whereas like when I was going to college in Berkeley, I guess you could consider like a mid-sized city. Like it maybe has 200,000 people that live there, and 40 to 50,000 are students, I think. Anyway, so I used to go to Equinox, and since I used to go a lot, this is kind of in between, but like I had friends at that gym. Like you just kind of make friends with people. It's a smaller Equinox. You see the same people around. I made like probably 4 or 5 friends from that Equinox. It just happens, right? You see the same. Whereas like, dude, if you're going to like Equinox Hudson Yards in Manhattan, dude, like,
it's just not going to happen.
Also, it's not going to happen.
You know what the cost of Equinox Hudson Yards is?
What, $350 a month?
It's $420 a month. Think about that. This gym is $420 a month. Now, obviously, it's a nice gym. Like, it's a luxury gym, but it's $420 a month. Whereas our gym in Iowa, like, what, 40, I think 50 a month. And it's a good gym. There's more space in that gym than Equinox Hudson Yards. And it's essentially, a tenth the price, right? Think about that. So, anyway, long story short, I think I've kind of realized, like, to answer the question about the life satisfaction, I actually polled both our parents about this question. I just kind of asked them. You know what they said?
Probably 8 to 9.
Our dad said 10. Our mom said 11.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our dad shook his head and said, honestly, I have no regrets.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you.
I knew it would be up there. I knew it would be high.
Yeah. Think about that.
That's good. Our mom said 11. That's something she would say.
Yeah. Like they literally have no issues. They were like, yeah, objectively look at my life. I'm very happy with what I did. I have no problems. What's the problem? I'm literally fine.
Despite our house burning down 2 years ago.
Dude, our house burned down 2 years ago. They're like, it's still 10. Dude,
yeah.
Our house burned down. They lost everything. And it's like, yeah, it's 10. What's the problem?
They also built the house from scratch. It's not like they bought it. Like they built it, spent a few years designing it, and it burned to the ground.
Burned to the ground, and they literally had the clothes on their back left over, is all they had. They had their shoes, the clothes on the back, and their computer. That's it.
Yeah.
Done. Nothing. And literally, 10 or 11. Honestly, my answer is 10 too. I have no problems.
That's good.
So, the average is like 7 or 8, right? It's like 7.5 is average.
Okay.
Or it's median. Sorry, median is 7.5 for that question. So I was listening to Arthur Brooks and Chris Williamson, and he was talking about like the different answers there. The people don't want to say like 3. You know what I mean? Like if somebody says a 3 to 5, they're depressed, maybe even suicidal.
Yeah. Dude, if you say like 5,
there's something wrong.
Like
with
even if 5 is like considered like a 2 or something.
Yeah. Like if you actually adjust it, 5 is like a 1 or a 2. Yeah. And like a 7.5 or 8 is like a 5 or a 6.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I asked my girlfriend, she said like maybe 8. So I just have a theory. I'm going to throw this out there. I think you ask people in California, they'd probably say lower than Iowa. That's just my theory though.
I thought you said that they literally asked this question on the surveys and it was lower on average.
Oh no, but that was a whole study, right? I'm just saying like if I think about people that I know in California, like I think there's also a sense of comparison. Like there's a big wealth inequality is kind of an over talked about topic. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, objectively, necessarily, but it really lowers your happiness when there's like a billionaire and a homeless guy on the same street.
When like the guy next door, like the big thing about California is that there is huge wealth inequality, not only like, billionaire to compare to homeless, but like just your friends, right?
Yeah.
Like one of your friends will like get into crypto like early and like instantly like make $5-10 million. This is the kind of stuff that happens, right? Like one of your friends, in fact.
Yeah, someone I know made 10 million overnight one time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Dude, this kind of stuff happens in big cities, right? Whereas in Iowa, everyone's close to the same, around the same, right?
Yeah.
So
in fact, in Iowa, nobody, like, if you just think about like the range of like incomes in Iowa amongst, in general, in a friend group, if you will, it'll probably be like 50 to 90K per year. Will probably be the range.
Well, even with our, like, you'll see some of our friends become, doctors, dentists, things like that.
Long term.
They'll have higher income, but it's not like they're printing 10 million in a night, like the guys.
They don't make 10 million overnight. If you just look at the just talk guys in their 20s, right? Like someone who is like kind of at the lower end, maybe 30 to 50K a year in Iowa, right? That's like a little bit on the lower end. And then if you just talk about the higher end, it's like 90 to 100K. Maybe they're like 3 to 5 years of experience as an engineer. Right, 50 to maybe like 100K at John Deere, 110 maybe if they have like 3 to 5 years of experience. You know what I mean?
I feel like
that's kind of the upper end,
but sure, like around there, like low six figures, something like that.
It'll be like 2 to 3x. As a high end compared to the low end of a 2 to 3 in Iowa.
Whereas in a city, you'll know a guy who's made more money you'll make in like 20 years. In a night, in a day.
This guy made overnight more money than most people will ever see in their lifetime, and you just kind of know that. Guy. You'll just be sitting there in your living room, like.
And he's also like your age.
Yeah, he's my age. In fact, he might be younger. No, I think he's 25, 26. Yeah, he's 25, 26.
Yeah, exactly.
He's around my age. Yeah. So that kind of just like when you look at a guy, he has done more than you will ever do in your entire lifespan, and he's just sitting there in front of you, and he's the same age as you. You kind of just question the system in general.
Right? Financially.
Yeah. You kind of question the system. And that's why there's a lot more crime in these kind of areas too. Because I was looking up, we actually went to Oakland for dinner a couple days ago. And earlier this week. And when we went to Oakland, I actually did not know. It's the crime capital of the US. It's one of the top most crime cities in the country. Did not know this. Everybody else we were at dinner with knew that. So I wish you told me before I scheduled the dinner there. But putting that aside, like I was doing a lot of research there. Like, why is Oakland truly the crime capital? Like, and what about this city really just drives?
I don't know if it's a crime capital, but it's one of the.
It is.
I think I asked
GPT,
what are the most dangerous cities in California? I think number one it said was Oakland.
Number one, dude, it is up there. It's probably It's not. It's one of the number one in California, and it's probably ranked nationally as well. I consider it a crime hotspot. You know what I mean? They showed him Black Panther in the intro, right? It's got to mean something with that, So
sure.
Yeah. So my point is like, I was asking why is it a crime capital, and it was saying extreme wealth inequality. Like it's just kind of an area where you have a lot of young men who just give up on the system. They're like, no matter how hard I work, I can't make this work. So they just turn to a life of crime. Right? They turn to a life of crime.
And then there's people next door who are, multi-millionaires.
Yeah. Like imagine you're playing a board game, you're playing Monopoly, and then you blink and the guy across from you has $10 million in Monopoly money and you just have like 100. What are you going to do?
Yeah, you passed to go and collected $200 and you just started the game.
Yeah, and he just collected 10 million. Went one way around. What are you going to do? You going to keep playing or are you going to flip the board? You got to keep playing or are you going to shake him down for his money? Yeah. I remember you were telling me when I was in San Francisco that your friend got robbed twice in an area that I was just walking around.
Yeah, in Soma.
Yeah, someone approached him with a hammer.
I mean, the policy of the cities in California has also affected this. Like, they're just very lax on crime.
Yeah,
etc. Like their overall policy has also caused this.
But, yeah, they're weak on crime, low law enforcement. They call prisons the revolving door in California. You're in, you're out, you're in, you're out. There's no real accountability with the justice system in that state. Like guys will literally like rob someone, and then a couple weeks later they're out of the street again. To rob someone else.
Were we looking up like you're obligated to let them rob you?
Oh, dude, in California, you can't even defend your property. It's like someone's like, "Give me everything you own." Okay, here it is. You cannot defend.
It was something like you're not allowed to escalate to like actually physically harming them unless they threaten you.
Yeah.
But if they just walk up to you normally and start taking your stuff but aren't threatening you, I don't think you're legally allowed
you're
to
not
do
allowed to
anything
stop
about
them. You can't do it. It's just like, okay, take my stuff. You know, like they don't have
This
any.
this might be incorrect, like, but that was our impression. This might be incorrect.
I'm telling you, there's something there, right? Like, whereas in other states like Texas, you have the right to shoot them down where they stand. You know? Yeah. So if you just think about that, right? And then also like shops in California, like they're not even allowed to call. The police won't even investigate or come when called unless $6,000 or more of merchandise has been stolen. So they're literally There's videos of homeless guys who will go on a bike, throw the door open, have like a sack, throw a bunch of stuff in purposely because they know it's under $6,000. So they kind of stay in the $4,000 to $5,000 range, and then they go out and the shop clerk is just standing there like this, watching them do it. Why do you think Walgreens has everything locked behind?
Yeah, everything's locked. It's annoying.
Everything is locked because literally homeless guys would come in, shovel stuff into their bag, and then bike out. Right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a lawless place to live in California, honestly, I feel.
Even in Santa Barbara, when we went to the CVS, some guy walked in, some shady looking guy. I immediately clocked this guy was shady, by the way.
Yeah.
Like when we were walking in, he was walking in. He walks in and the store owner starts yelling, "I don't want to see you back in here. I told you to get out." Yeah. And this guy's like walking, trying to like get stuff. I was like, dude, what is going on?
Yeah. Dude, it literally feels like it's anarchy, honestly. It feels like it's anarchy. There's no laws. It's every man for himself. That's how it feels in these kind of states.
Yeah, it's like anarchy.
Yeah, it's anarchy.
Dude, you kind of get accustomed to it, but when you genuinely actually think about what's going on, like, what is this?
Yeah.
Like, why in Berkeley you just walk and there is someone pooping on the street?
Yeah, dude, I was just walking on a block near your apartment.
Why?
Yeah, yeah. And it just smelled like poop all of a sudden. Like someone probably just pooped on the street there. Like, what?
I literally, like, one time I literally saw someone pooping on the street.
Yeah. Think about that.
What? Yeah. Like, why?
So you kind of just lose faith in the system. When you live in an environment where you're always looking over your shoulder, right? You're always looking over your shoulder. You don't trust your fellow man. You know what I mean? Like, it just creates your happiness drops, right? So, anyway. Yeah.
Or like one time, so I had gone to a company dinner in the Tenderloin, and I didn't realize like this was a bad area of SF because I had just moved to SF. And I was going to walk home because I live, maybe a mile walk away around there. So I was looking down at my phone in Google Maps. And this homeless guy he's walking towards me. He just slaps my phone out of my hand.
He's like this.
I think he threw some slurs at me while I was walking too.
Yeah.
And he's like looking back at me like really threatening. I was like, dude, like what?
Yeah.
Why? And then the people around me just saw that happen. Just continued with it, just kept walking, continued with their day.
No problem.
Every
day, normal day. In fact, yeah, our friend Pooja, she was in Berkeley checking out apartments. Her car was full of luggage. Her family had gone up to look at the apartment, 10, 20, 30 minutes, came down, all windows broken, all luggage gone. And in fact, there were people walking around. People saw the perpetrators doing it. Didn't say anything, didn't stop them. What are you going to do? Every day, average Tuesday in Berkeley,
Dude, this happened in Kansas. People would be screaming, "I'm doing a citizen's arrest," and like tackle these guys.
Somebody would literally run into Dude, literally, like if you're in Iowa and a group of people see someone breaking someone's car window and taking the stuff, you'd have like a 250-pound guy tackle him and just be like, "I'm performing a citizen's arrest. Someone call the police."
Yeah,
This kind of stuff would happen in the Midwest. Dude, I was in New York a few months ago, and I had some friends visiting. This is my friend from college, Vithi, and some, her family members and friends that I know is what were visiting us. And we were in the subway. I was in the front, Vithi, and then a couple other people in the back. One of them was a girl with blonde hair in our group. She was walking. Some lady walks up to her, grabs her hair, and starts pulling it, and starts yelling like slurs and stuff at her, like screaming slurs. And grabs her hair and yanks her hair. And then she starts like fighting her off. And then our friend in our group, her friend like slaps the lady and then like tries to like get her off. And then one of the guys in our group goes, "Hey, hey!" starts yelling. And then the lady ran away.
What? Why?
Yeah.
Dude, do not take the New York City subway.
Dude, like,
don't take the subway.
What the heck? And then I literally turned around. I was about to go through the turnstile, and I came around to turn around when I heard like my friend yell, "Hey, hey!" Then my first thought that came to my mind, because it was me and this guy, and the rest were 3 girls. Me and this guy, I looked at him, and my first thought was, "Who are we beating up today?"
That's good.
Yeah. But anyway, this is the kind of stuff that happens in cities, right? This kind of thing. Yeah. One of my friends told me that his friend was standing there at a food truck, and then he turned around and saw a guy clutching his chest and it was all red. And the guy goes, "I just got stabbed, bro." Yeah. Someone just came up and stabbed that guy. Anyway, I think we've kind of complained about these cities enough, but I think overall the point that I'm making is don't be sold by the lie of weather contributing to your long-term happiness. Actually objectively do an analysis on these cities and really think about, do you want to live there and raise
family? It's like a state of anarchy.
Yeah,
it's a state of anarchy.
State of anarchy. Yeah. People just kind of do whatever they want to you. You can't fight back. Yeah. Anyway, so I have another update about going to San Francisco. So I stayed. One of the things I did in San Francisco was I stayed in this thing called a hacker house. It was this AI company. I won't say the specific company name, but they were asking their strategy for marketing was they raised a bunch of money. They were like, how do we market? We want to build organic social media. They saw Cluely, obviously, which is kind of the gold standard when it comes to organic social media and just kind of organic content. And they thought, okay, here's a good idea. We're going to fly out 10 to 20 influencers, pay for their flights, food, and housing, and just ask them to make content about what it's like to live in this hacker house. So I was invited to join as I'm kind of in the tech, area / ecosystem. So I show up at the house and I walk in. I was planning on staying there. So the person greets me, says hi, shows me the room. We open the door to the room and it's 4 bunk beds. The blankets are on the floor. There's chips on the floor and there's a bunch of wrappers everywhere. Then I look at the bottom bunk and there's some guy laying on his side. It's 2 p.m. by the way, with a blanket over his head and his laptop. And he goes, "What's up? I just woke up." Yeah. There's a bunch of energy drinks everywhere. Then I start talking to the people there. And one guy goes like, "Yeah, when I was born in 2007, I don't remember things being this way, et cetera, et cetera." Like he said some sentence where he dropped that he was born in 2007. So I go, "Hold up, man. How old are you?" He said, "I'm 18, bro." And then I start polling people in the house asking what age they are. At least half the people are between the age 18 to 20. In fact, one guy walked past, grabbed my shoulder and said, "What's up, unk?" Mind you, I'm 24. So these guys saw me as like an older guy. So anyway, like I think they were very nice people. Like there was nothing wrong with them. It was nice to talk to them. It was cool to meet them. But I just thought it was kind of funny, like how the generations are different, right? Kind of different in age. So originally I was going to stay there, but I kind of wanted to because I didn't want to, be part of that culture. I wanted to sleep on time. So I texted the owner of the house asking, "Are there quiet hours?" Right? Because I sleep by 10:30 most nights. And she goes, "What do you mean? We all sleep around 2 to 3 a.m. Yeah. So that was enough for me to get out of there and I stayed with you. But I just thought it was a funny experience. Because it felt like there was a great generational divide between the 18, 19, 20, and 24, even though we're actually not that far apart age-wise.
I don't know if all 18-year-olds are like this though. But I feel like a lot of people in that age range kind of become like this.
I think it's more of just a stage of life, right? They're all either in college or dropped out of college, or living in kind of like a frat house kind of thing, right? Yeah. So
I don't know, that kind of puts you off because you view it as lack of discipline. You view it as kind of not put together. They don't really respect themselves in that regard. I feel like that's kind of the view you have. Going to sleep at 3, getting up at 2, sup, man? What?
What's up, man? Good morning. It's 2:30 p.m. Good morning. Yeah. So I think it's more I really value routine, stability, and health. Funny enough, on the flip side, one of my friends, Amy, who was staying at the house, she's 27, so she's way older than these guys. She invited one of her friends to come visit and to say hi, who was 33. And the moment this 33-year-old walked in, she looked around. She looked at a guy half her age. And was "Yo, what?"
Yeah.
Like this girl was like 16 when this guy was born, you know, like
Yeah.
yeah. So it's like, yeah, like maybe like 15, 16 when this guy was born. So anyways, it's kind of a crazy experience. I realized that just based on my lifestyle and personality, I'm much suited to people who are more stable and older. Like I'd rather stay with a bunch of like 35-year-olds who are married than a bunch of 18-year-olds, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, but I would say like it's overall you're kind of put off by like the lack of discipline there.
Yeah.
Like even like the place is dirty and like messy, right?
It was really, really messy. The trash is overflowing. The tables are full of food. How do they all order DoorDash for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? There's the water is all plastic bottles. These guys ordered
DoorDash, like did eat some food and just throw it on the floor or something? Like,
yeah, it's literally just like all these containers are half full. Like you just kind of leave it around. That's kind of what it is, you know? Like literally what everybody was eating was 3 times a day, someone would send an Uber Eats group order for some random like, you know, greasy kind of food like ramen, Korean food, something. Also, there were like 20 plus Asians and then me as well, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, I want to caveat by saying these are really nice people and I'm glad they invited me. I'm grateful for the invite, but I just thought the values and the way of life was really interesting, you know? Because I think on the flip side, imagine they're 18, but they all go to sleep on time, 10:30, 11. They wake up in the morning. They have a good diet. They get their morning sunlight. They go to the gym, right? They shower. You know, they're not wearing pajamas. They're not wearing PJs 7 days straight in the house.
Yeah.
Like they're dressed nicely. They're sitting there. It's like, what are we focusing on today? You know, that kind of lifestyle, right? I would respect that more. So actually, all these guys were in tech. I walk in, nobody recognizes me. Nobody sees my content. They're all Asian, by the way, East Asian. Then on the last day, one Indian guy shows up. He looks at me. The first thing he does, he ignores everybody, walks over to me, daps me up and says, "Love your channel, bro. I've seen you with Captain Sinbad, bro." Yeah. The one brown guy recognizes me. So I realized that most of my audience is actually brown. Most of the listeners to this podcast are actually brown. I'm guessing. People kind of follow.
I got recognized by a few Asian people, though.
Yeah, I mean, there are some Asian guys. But like, if somebody's going to recognize me in tech, it's going to be the brown guy. You know what I mean?
Most likely, sure, yeah.
Most likely. Most of the people who recognize me on the street have been brown.
Yeah.
Nice.
Actually, I've only been recognized by Asian guys.
Oh, really? Wow,
so far.
That's surprising.
Yeah. I think 3 times so far.
Yeah.
Actually, no, 4 times. One was Indian, 3 were Asian.
Maybe it's because the podcast that we did went super viral, so it just kind of hit all demographics, all Asians.
Yeah, sure.
Brown stations. Yeah. Nice. Another thing we watched was the Stranger Things finale. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
I watched a few review videos about the finale, and I kind of agreed with most of them. They were like, dude, like, the finale kind of sucked. Like, the last season kind of sucked of Stranger Things. And I actually went back to the first season last weekend. Or not last weekend, like this week. And I kind of skimmed it at like 2 to 3x speed just to see what it used to be like. Dude, the show used to be way better than the last season. There are so many reasons why like the last season was just not very good. But yeah, what were your overall impressions?
So at first, people were saying it's kind of like not very good. Then we watched it. We didn't watch any reviews or anything. And actually our first reaction was that wasn't that bad at first.
So I think our first reaction was that was okay.
That was fine.
Right. It was fine. Like there were some good moments. There was some stuff that made 0 sense. Right.
Yeah.
But like it wasn't horrible.
Yeah.
But you know, in my mind I had a few, I would say like 6 out of 10 I would give it. But in my mind I was thinking like there were some like open questions I had like this makes no sense. Then I feel like we watched a few reviews and started thinking about it. Then we were like, dude, like, what is this?
We watched a few reviews that really in exquisite detail pointed out every single flaw and why it made no sense at all. And as soon as somebody pointed all like, let's say you see a work of art, right? You're like, that's fine. Until an art critique comes over, art critic comes over and points out all these problems and flaws with it. Now you see the flaws. Now you see the problems. Now you don't think it's that good.
Sure, but I just thought it was okay, you know, at the even without the influence of external critics. Like even like when we were watching the epilogue and then, all the characters returned to their normal life, I turned to you and was like, wait, so the military just let them go? We just saw Nancy gun down like 10 military guys. Like, that's a crime. That's a murder, bro. Dude, Hopper's killed like 40 of these guys. Like, the military just let them go? Like, what?
So, I mean, I don't want to I don't want to really like recap these moments that made no sense because people can watch those videos. But what was your kind of takeaway there? My big takeaway here was like, we live in actually, I think the big issue, I was watching an analysis video about this, is Netflix has briefed every producer, director, etc. who's making a show with something called like the small screen effect or some variation of that term. What does that mean? It means they recognize that most people watching these shows are also scrolling TikTok or on their phone at the same time. So because of that, they over-explain literally everything. They don't leave anything up to like interpretation or meaning like they don't allow you to connect the dots, right? Like if you imagine Stranger Things, right? Every like 5 minutes, there's like, this is Will, and this is the mind flare, and where Will goes up here, and this is the mind flare. It's like, what? Like, why are they over
getting random objects like explaining it? Whereas if you look at the first season, they're just talking, right? Like, oh no, I saw a guy in the forest. They're like, this is me. This is the guy.
This is me, and that's the mind. And that's like they're just recapping, over explaining literally everything that happens. So I just think like we've gotten to this place where like they're kind of like spoon feeding us, right? They're spoon feeding, they're watering down everything just so it's more palatable. They also take no risks at all. You actually know what I thought was going to happen? I thought at the end when like when Vecna tells Hopper that Elle is planning to kill herself, you know what I thought she was gonna do? I thought he was gonna go full Last of Us, kill 8, grab 11, and turn against the heroes, say like ally with Vecna, because let him win to save 11. Like I thought that was gonna be that would be more interesting, right? Like
I don't think that's like aligned with his character though. I think his aligned with his character would be to kill 8 and then move on.
Like kill 8 and then like grab 11 and then like not help the heroes defeat Vecna with like 11 being an upside down. You know, I thought there would be some level of conflict like, there.
Like they take no risks. Like they'll kind of fake you out about someone's death every time, except for the one character that doesn't matter.
They brought one character who died, who literally was the most hated character of season 2 and the most hated episode, that they brought back just to kill her off anyway. That was the only
Steve will fall. Steve will fall off the tower. It'll cut to black. The next second, you see that someone caught him. Yeah. What was the point of that? Right. Or in the end, they didn't even let 11 actually die.
Yeah.
They wanted to satisfy everybody. The people who wanted her to live, they can believe the story that Mike told at the end. The people that wanted her to die, they won't believe. Like, there's no real risks taken. There's no real decision made.
Yeah. They're not willing to alienate any percent of their audience. So they essentially watered it down till there's nothing left. Right. They watered down everything, and now what are we left with? Some like BS that's kind of to everyone. Right, they went
exactly
fine to everyone rather than great to some people and bad to others. Right,
well, they refuse to polarize. Is that if you make I feel like obviously like we're not like film directors or something, but my perspective is like you actually take a decision and you run with it and make you have a strong opinion about why X way to take the story is good. In general, most people will like that way more than just, to everyone, not really doing much.
Yeah. In fact, it's like you were only really remembered in this world for your massive successes. Yeah, nobody remembers the and nobody remembers the failures either. Like we were talking about Isaac Newton earlier over winter break, how like most of his work was done in theology and alchemy, both of which essentially ended up not really amounting to much of anything, right? He wrote tens of thousands of lines and pages on alchemy, theology, didn't really pan out. What did? Calculus. He's remembered as the father of calculus, one of the greatest mathematicians to have ever lived, because of that. Yeah. You're only really remember, like Einstein, for example. Einstein would come with some BS theory every single day, and say, "Can you prove it?"
So I recently read Einstein's biography, and again, you're only remembered for your greatest wins. And Einstein's greatest wins happened before, the 1920s with, special relativity, photoelectric effect, Brownian motion, general relativity. But then essentially, like, the biography talks about how the latter 30 to 35 years of his career was centered around finding, some unified theory and proving quantum mechanics wrong. But he didn't get anywhere because he was actually the one who was incorrect about quantum mechanics. Now, obviously, I don't understand all the details here, but he spent 30 plus years, and he had some, pivotal papers that had to do with quantum mechanics, but they were mostly failures in that time. Like, his work towards this unified field theory, he was working on it till the day he died, and it didn't materialize into anything. But he's still remembered as, the most famous and one of the greatest scientists of all time because of the successes that he had at 26, actually, in 1905. And, at like 30, whatever he was when general relativity came out. So you're only remembered for your greatest wins.
Yeah, you're remembered for your greatest wins, and then the rest is just forgotten. So it's worth swinging for the fences, right? In the case you get that one home run, that just pays for everything else. So it's fine to have 99 failures and one success because it's the one success that counts. So I think directors don't really understand that these days. They weren't. Also, think about the actors. A lot of them are really checked out. If you actually look at their acting, like look at Winona Ryder. Dude, she's kind of just sitting there. Like she's not really trying when it comes to her acting. If you look at Finn Wolfhard, he has the same expression the entire show. It's like, look. He's always like, Will 11, Will.
Yeah,
like he has the same expression the whole series. Like he's kind of checked out. Joe Keery, guy's checked out, man. Like he had this charisma early on in the earlier seasons. It's not really there anymore. David Harbour's kind of checked out too. He has the same exact character and plot every season. It's like, L's unsafe, you're unsafe. Since from season 2, 3, 4, and 5, he's playing the same thing.
Yeah,
right? There's literally no development at all.
It's kind of getting old. I was even thinking that in season 5, like, dude, this is getting old.
Right? Yeah, you've been saying the same thing.
You can't run the same plot over and over and over again. Oh, the military will always be after her. It will never end. Like, dude, why? Like, why is this the same plot every time?
It's the same plot over and over again. Also, like, Millie Bobby Brown, also, like, I think her acting was not the best, to be honest. Like, she's kind of just the same face the whole time. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like it was better earlier on. I think Sadie Sink was trying. I think her acting was okay. Pretty good. I think Holly was trying. I think Derek was trying too. Yeah. So, like, the new characters are trying harder. But I just think... Anyway, do you have any, like, long-term takeaways from this? Like, what do you think overall to kind of sum this portion up?
I don't know. I think we talked about, like, a lot of the long-term takeaways. I just think there were so many problems with the season. Yeah. The fact that Holly actually is the character that gets the most screen time in the whole season, where
why did they do
she's
that?
Like a new character. Like the reason people come back to the show is because from like, the first few seasons, people ended up really loving these characters, right? Like people really love the dynamic between like the 4 kids, right?
Yeah.
In the first season. But then like they're not even like the main character. Like, dude, Mike hasn't done anything since season 1.
He has done literally nothing. He has no role.
he just stands there the entire time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think there's a lot. The other issue, like when the final decision is like, oh, 11's gonna die because she'll never be safe. It'll never. Dude, the overarching plot of the show is 11 is the main character, and the whole point of the show is that she's trying to finally find a family and like have a normal life, right? She comes from this government lab. The whole plot of the show, in my mind, is that all these like external forces are trying to stop that from happening, but all she wants is a normal, nice life, right? But then to like build that up for 5 seasons, just like at the end, like, actually, no, that's never going to happen. Like, dude, what's the point of that?
Yeah, what the heck?
Why did you spend 5 seasons working on that, right?
Yeah. Like, I even remember in season 1, she went into Nancy's room and tried on Nancy's dress and put on some hair. And that was a big thing. Yeah, exactly. That was the first time she ever wore a dress and ever had hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just be a normal girl, normal person for once. They just threw it away. I think this is a larger sign that, like, people don't take risks anymore. In fact, I was watching a little bit of The Wolf of Wall Street last night.
Yeah.
Have you watched The Wolf of Wall Street?
Yeah, I watched it.
I think you would. I don't know. Yeah, you watched it. Dude, they took massive risks back then.
Yeah, dude. I mean, this movie came out in 2013, I think.
2013. So, that's not even that long ago. Yeah. That was less than 15 years ago. Yeah, they were taking massive risks with that movie. Like all these drugs, these guys are yelling on screen. Like there's so much like energy and charisma to these characters, right? Yeah. Like that they just don't. You don't see movies like that anymore, right? They're doing Harry Potter again.
I don't know, maybe,
you know what I mean?
I mean, like, I don't know, Stranger Things is also, it's kind of become watered down because it's like Netflix's, main show at this point. Like
it's Netflix's magnum opus is just this watered down BS at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
I'm sure they do make movies like that. We just probably haven't watched them. But
I don't know, man. Yeah. Like, I mean, I guess they do, but the mainstream movies just feel like, it just feels
the
like
mainstream movies.
Yeah. Again, they're redoing Harry Potter.
Dude, if you look at Marvel, right? Back then, people were saying, the Avengers is watered down. It's like cater to everybody. They aren't really saying anything. They're not taking any risks. People would say that back then, even though they made Thanos win in Infinity War.
Yeah,
people would still say that.
It's a massive risk,
right?
Yeah.
But now, if you look at Marvel, it's even worse. Most people, I feel like, tuned out. Most people stopped caring. Because they made it even worse in terms of like lack of taking risks. It's like very watered down. Right.
In fact, they take so little risks. They were like, screw it all. We're just going to bring back all the original characters and start over again.
Yeah.
Thus invalidating literally everything that happened in the first 3 phases of Marvel. They're like, screw this. We're bringing back Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth. We're bringing back the original X-Men. I thought they were supposed to be done. For like multiple movies have been multiple send-offs of the original X-Men. Screw it. We're just going to bring back Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen. Screw it. Just because we need butts in seats at the end of the day. Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, they don't take risks anymore. But anyway, I have another topic we can discuss. Kind of closing out the Stranger Things discussion. So, unless you have something else to say here.
No, I don't really have anything else.
Yeah. So I watched this video, this 8-minute video, this animated video on YouTube called "How Do You Know Whether a Relationship is Going to Work or Not?" And it got me really thinking, like, what are the actual factors that make a relationship work, a romantic relationship work, and what do people get wrong? And
was this from the School of Life or something?
It was like something like that, right? Something like that. Now, there's two kind of factors, two kind of categories of traits that you can analyze in a person and yourself to kind of identify whether it's going to work. And most people start with just the romantic layer, which is physical attraction, chemistry, emotional spark, and intensity. And most people just think that that's it. Like there's just physical attraction, chemistry, emotional spark. I have fun with them. We both like coffee. Will be a reason. Yeah, like this person likes coffee. We both go, I don't know, we both like Netflix. We like watching movies. Like that people will cite those as reasons, like just interests. You know what I mean? But really, there's 3 other areas that actually make a relationship work that are not these kind of a high level things. 1 is life direction, 2 is conflict style, and 3 is values. And I thought this was very interesting. I never actually heard this clearly laid out in a very easy to understand, digestible way. So I'll kind of go through each of them and then you can comment. So the first one that was, life direction, very simple, right? Are you moving to the same kind of future as this person? So this is career, lifestyle, pace, ambition, geography, right? Life direction. If somebody wants to be a consulting partner at McKinsey by 45 in New York City, and somebody else wants to be a park ranger, and that's been their dream since they were age 7, it's probably not going to work out. So you got to make sure that the life direction is similar. Does one person want 8 kids when someone wants to, not have any kids, right? Like life direction has got to be, pointed in the same way. And you can't really solve that. Like your life direction has got to be like 80 to 90% at least similar in the same direction. If somebody wants 2 different fundamental things, it's not going to work. So I think that's the most obvious one, life direction. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't really have any.
Yeah. One thing that I also thought was interesting is these also help with friends. So these 3 I'm about to discuss are like useful to identify who's going to be a good friend as you. More likely to be a better friend.
In fact, these are essentially the same for friends, except you just remove the romantic part.
Exactly. I was about to say that. If you remove the romantic layer,
is the second half.
Yeah, these 3, they're called a friendship layer actually, or with friends and your romantic partner, right? But people are way more obvious about it with friends for some reason because their romantic parts are removed because they're more so like life direction, right? If it what's more likely I'm going to be friends with someone who's an entrepreneur who's like more interested in that, or somebody whose life goal is to be like the football coach at the high school. You know, it's just more likely that I end up being friends with this guy because of life direction, right? The second one is conflict style. So how do you fight? Do you avoid, explode, shut down, repair quickly, or take responsibility? Right? Let's say someone's conflict style is avoidance. You get into a fight, bro, I can't talk to you for 3 days. Like,
Yeah.
see ya, I'll be back in 3 days. Or if someone's like, they immediately want to just like keep talking about it. That's a big thing. Conflict style. How do you actually resolve disagreements? And I'm not saying either is better. Like sometimes if people need space, they need space, right? Like if two people have avoidance conflict style, that's actually fine, right? We just got into a fight. We both need our space for a day, and then we'll come back and discuss it. But the problem is when one person's like, they need the opposite of the other, right? Like one person,
Sure.
Conflict communication style. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like for example, let's say someone's incredibly blunt and explicit, and it kind of says whatever's on their mind. You know, like I think this, right? Or the other person is not blunt and explicit. They kind of hint at things. The person who's not blunt or explicit feels unheard because the guy who's blunt misses everything they're saying subtly. And then also they feel like the guy who's blunt is just mean because they shove everything down their throat. You know? So this is conflict communication style. I haven't really heard this talked about.
And the one who's blunt thinks that they like the other person's like kind of not really saying anything.
Yeah. They think they're over dramatic.
Yeah.
Dude, you're over dramatic. Why aren't you just saying it? Like, why are you playing all these games? Just be honest with what you think. Just kind of talk about this rationally. Right.
Yeah.
So the final area is values. I think people talk a lot about values. Didn't actually understand. I never understood what values was before I watched this 8-minute video, this 8-minute little animated short. What values is what do you fundamentally, like, what matters to you most in order, right? So, for example,
it's essentially it's an ordering of priorities.
Exactly.
It's an ordering. Yeah. It's like you have 100 points and you have to assign them to a set of, 15, 20 values, right?
Yeah.
However many.
Exactly. So it's like there's a bunch of different values that you can rank, right? Like one is your life philosophy. Like, is life about growth or comfort? That's a big one. Is life about growth or comfort? What do you naturally lean towards? Right? Are you someone who prioritizes fun in the moment or delayed gratification? Right? Someone who like values like in moment fun is always going to be in an argument for so many things, and someone who values long-term delayed gratification doesn't really care about fun that much. Because the person who wants to have fun is like, hey, I made $1,000. I want to go have an experience with that. Whereas someone who values delayed gratification is like, why are you wasting the money? Right? I would prefer to save it. And they're always kind of fighting about that. You know what I mean? Yeah, like money philosophy is a huge thing, right? Like spend versus save versus invest, right? Security driven versus freedom driven. So I think like these values, I just didn't realize that like it's so clear. Like what matters to you most is those values. And if you have fundamentally opposing values in too many areas, the relationship or friendship, in fact, is not going to work out.
Yeah, I think it's more true towards a relationship versus a friendship because you can kind of be friends with people who have different values, but you probably aren't going to be that close friends with them. You can still be friends with them, but you're not going to be like that good of friends.
It's less likely. Like it just works in the opposite direction of friendship. You know what I mean? Like sure, if like I like playing like like going to the gym with someone and they don't value their they just blow all their money. Like they have no investment, no saving mindset. It's like they've got like $2 to
friends with
buy.
that guy.
Like I can still go to the gym with that guy, but like what am I more likely to actually be good friends with? Someone with a very similar financial philosophy, someone who believes in savings and also investing in their own business and self, right? Versus someone who's like a frugal saver, someone who like doesn't want to spend on anything, right? So like you're more likely to lean in this direction. So I think the fundamental mistake people make is they optimize for like the surface layer romantic stuff, attraction, chemistry, spark, but they don't actually think about these three underlying factors because that's what actually matters most.
In fact, those are probably the only things that matter long term. Like they're probably 80 to 90% of what matters long term.
I would say physical attraction in a relationship does matter. Like you have to think this person is attractive, otherwise, like, what are you doing?
Sure, but
You know what I mean?
I'm saying like of those things are kind of like there's a minimum threshold, whereas I would say the other three things, your quality of life essentially scales linearly with how aligned you are on those things.
Yeah, 100%. Like
Whereas I would say the first category, that's not necessarily true. It's more of a step
minimum
function.
threshold. Yeah, you just need to hit like a certain level, then the rest is fine. Right? But people like really over optimize. And it's kind of making me realize, like, I think maybe arranged marriage isn't so bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if there's some system to find someone who matches you in all three of those areas, like, what's the problem? And you find them attractive? You know? Like why is it such a big deal? Like, I mean, I would not get an arranged marriage. I didn't meet my partner through that. I don't think you did. You would or did either, right? So it's like, but I think if I really think about it, like, why do I need to meet someone organically when someone could literally hit all of these categories and the work could just be done for me? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's fine. I don't see any problem with that.
Nice. So yeah, do you have any thoughts about that? Like anything that kind of opened your mind, or do you feel like this is all kind of obvious?
I mean, I think it's pretty like, I think these things are pretty obvious, honestly. But
do you feel like what do you feel like your biggest values are in life?
I would say the personal growth thing is definitely there. I think life is about growth and not comfort, for sure. I was actually re-listening to David Goggins like last night and today. Yeah. Like, there's something that attracts me to, like, I just like David Goggins, you know, like that kind of mindset. Obviously, like, he takes it to the extreme. In fact, I was realizing that he was actually from birth built to, like, handle the maximum amount of pain and survive. Because that was the adaptations he made as a child living with his father. It's how do I survive in an environment that I'm, like, in maximum pain all the time and maximum stress? Which I realize is why he is so good at, like, you know, these ultra marathons he does, or like being a Navy SEAL. So in fact, that weakness, that like his horrible life became a strength.
Yeah.
Which I don't think he even realized that when he wrote the book, because I don't think he talked about that. But I think that makes total sense to me. Because most guys would like not, you know, run 100 miles, like give themselves a rhabdomyolysis in the next 3 to 4 weeks, you're running another 100. And you're doing, you know, 10 to 20 of these events in a year. Right?
Yeah.
Like most guys are like, dude, why would I do that? But I don't. But I don't think he even realized it when he wrote the book, because I don't think that's part of it. But
I think it's also because he was born and adapted in an environment of extreme pain. So that's actually where he feels most comfortable. Goggins feels most himself in pain.
Yeah, he's used to it.
Yeah. It's like let's say you have an organism that's born, that a species that evolves to survive in harsh climates of like 130, 140 degrees Fahrenheit or something. Like that species would probably die at 70 degrees Fahrenheit of balmy weather because they thrive. They were adapted in the pain. So Goggins, let's say I told Goggins, you can't run or work out for 6 months. I think he would lose his mind. He would literally lose his mind.
He would go crazy.
He would literally go crazy because he has to survive.
That's the life of the normal guy.
Yeah, normal guy doesn't work out. Why would I work out? I don't know. Like normal guy doesn't work out.
Maybe they'll do like few workouts a week.
Yeah,
but nothing near the intensity of Goggins, right?
Yeah, exactly. Now maybe I should re-listen.
Anyway, so I would say the growth mindset is one of the biggest things in terms of my values. I think my emphasis on self-improvement and growth mindset is higher than yours in terms of like you value short-term fun a little more than me in terms of like long-term gratification, I would say.
Yeah,
I think you value short-term fun a lot.
I definitely value short-term fun a lot more than you, I would say. Yeah. For sure.
Whereas I think
I also value
short-term. Yeah, my value of short-term fun is one of the lowest people I know.
In fact, one of the lowest people out there. Near zero value.
Near zero.
Fun. Yeah. Like, I'll ask you, do you want to do this? And your default answer is no. One time we were like, want to go watch Wicked? And you're like, why would I go watch a movie? You just don't get any. You just don't care about it. Like you just don't get any. I was like, when I was there a few days ago, I was like, why don't we go grab dinner at this restaurant? It looks pretty good. You were like, why would I go to a restaurant? I'd rather just sit there at the table and eat Chipotle.
Yeah.
Like even let's say the restaurant was free and the Chipotle was free, you just eat the Chipotle. You're like, I don't care. I'd value just sitting there.
The money wasn't in the question. I would rather just sit at home.
You'd rather just sit there,
interesting.
Look at your computer screen and eat Chipotle. Yeah. In fact,
so I would say I have some of the lowest value for short-term type 1 fund versus type 2 fund out of anyone I know.
I also think you value stability extremely.
Yeah.
Like in terms of stability versus capacity to do like liking change. Novelty versus stability. Those are the two things. Novelty versus consistency. You love consistency in your routine, your environment, people, everything. Right? To you, the worst thing is travel. You hate travel because it's all novelty, all new environment, all new people, new foods, new routine, new et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right?
That's not why I dislike travel. It's mostly because, in my opinion, growth comes from consistency. Essentially the only way to make growth, consistency is a requirement to make growth. At least to make growth at like a decent rate, or as close to like, pushing as fast as you can.
Yeah.
And that's why I value consistency. Because when you have novelty, when things are like out of your control, it's very hard to make growth.
So let me ask you a question. If you felt like dealing with novelty and discomfort was key to growth, would you do it?
If it wasn't limiting other parts of growth, then yeah, because it's part of the growth.
Like let's say
dealing with discomfort is obviously part of growth. It's not discomfort. It's that the novelty is there for the type 1 fun, but not for the type 2 fun. Not for the long-term gratification.
Yeah, so you don't think novelty is worth it because it harms your growth, essentially. Yeah. Whereas I value type 1 fun and novelty.
Like purely in my expected value calculation, you are putting, your weight in front of the novelty bucket, and the type 1 fun bucket is just way higher than mine. And when you make a decision, you're increasing this novelty bucket or type 1 bucket, but decreasing this type 2 fun bucket, then that's worth it for you, but it's not for me.
Yeah. So I wonder, another question I have is, why do you think you don't really have a couch? Like, where does that fit into this?
Exactly. Like, so Aman came to my apartment and he essentially realized that I have no furniture except a desk and a chair and a bed.
Yeah.
And I have two bar stool chairs that Aman leaned back on and broke one of them.
And literally, a chair is meant to be leaned back. I lean back, the thing breaks. It's so bad quality. Yeah. So is it because you don't?
No, because no one uses those. Anyway, because what's the value of the couch? I have the office chair. What am I going to do on the couch?
Because the couch is comfortable.
What am I going to do
enjoyable.
there?
It's enjoyable to sit there.
Dude, I can lie down on my bed if I want to go to sleep.
Yeah. So the point is that you don't feel like it progresses your
couch?
Goals at all. There's no point.
Exactly.
Because you don't progress your goals.
It doesn't progress the goals.
Yeah.
In fact, Sam Ovens would say, if you buy the couch, you're more likely to sit on it and do nothing. So in fact, it regresses your goals by buying the couch.
Yeah, because you value your goals above everything else right now.
I wouldn't say above everything else, but it's like a very high value, right, of mine.
Yeah.
So what's the point of the couch?
Yeah, because I value the couch because it increases your short-term fun.
Because I can short-term fun. You can lie there and go to your phone like this and watch something.
I can go like this. I can go on the TV and watch something. Like I can kind of just sit there. Like it's kind of fun to sit there on the couch. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I also value. I think it's just fun to try new coffees and try all this stuff. You know what I mean? Like I do value fun. Yeah. So it's interesting how are there any other I know we were talking about fun versus goals, right? Is there any other directions or spectrums that you feel are interesting here, or is that the main one?
I think the one we mainly differ on is the short-term fun and the consistency thing versus novelty. That's the main one we differ on.
Yeah. I really value consistency as well. Yeah, what's interesting is there's a lot of people who this is interesting. Like, why is it that I also sleep at the same time every day and wake up early, but I also value fun? Like, I wouldn't.
Your value of fun is higher than mine, which is why you like travel a lot. You do a lot of these things, but you also have the value of consistency and like progress towards goals. I just don't have the value of fun in the equation.
Yeah.
Like if someone's like, oh, like I had a great night last night, you know, like we went out, had a nice dinner, watched a movie, you know, like we had so much fun. Like we went to sleep at like 2 a.m. because we were like having so much fun. I would think like that's a horrible night.
Yeah.
Like why am I going to sleep at 2 a.m.?
Yeah. Right. Because like the fun part is completely not. It's not even on the balance sheet. It's not even on the balance sheet to you. It's literally just negative. It's like, what is that? Right.
Yeah.
To me, like I bet you like if the same thing. It's like you went to sleep at 2 a.m. You had the exact. We both stayed up, had a nice night. We went to a movie, ate this. We both slept at 2 a.m. I would not be perfectly happy as if we did the same thing but earlier. But you would be way more unhappy than me because the fun part's not even in the equation. It's not even in the picture. It's not even on the balance sheet at all. There's no enjoyment to you. Your only enjoyment is progressing in your goals.
I wouldn't say it's my only enjoyment, but
what are
like
other things you enjoy?
One, I'd say. Like somehow I like doing some activities like this with my girlfriend, but I think that could be because it's kind of like a long-term investment. You know?
Yeah, I think it's a goal.
It's not like I'm just doing it with some guy that I'm like never going to see again, right?
Yeah. If I said, okay, you can watch a movie with your girlfriend or you can watch a movie with a random guy you're never going to see again, you're not going to see the movie with a random guy. Let's be honest.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's because...
Or you could say like, you can watch the movie yourself.
Yeah.
Like I do like value that when it's like nostalgic. Like I liked, skimming through Stranger Things. I watched Infinity War last month over a few days. So I did enjoy that. But like when I look up a new movie, like when I was on Netflix, I saw Knives Out came out with a new Knives Out, right? New one.
Yeah.
Would I watch that myself? No. Why? What do I get out of that?
It's pretty good. But that's what I've heard. I'm probably going to watch it. I've heard it's pretty good.
Dude, like, why would I do that?
Would you watch it if like one of your friends was like, hey, you want to watch this? Would you watch it or no? You'd be like, no, I don't want to.
No.
Yeah. So I think it's because you're with your romantic relationship, you see it as a long-term goal of yours. That's why you're willing to do these things. And you think it's necessary to do these things to fulfill the long-term goal.
Well, I also enjoyed it in the moment as well. I think that maybe my multiplier on the fun is pretty small, but the enjoyment is much higher with my girlfriend. So maybe that like it comes into the equation, right?
So I bet you would watch something with like your girlfriend and maybe your family a little bit. Some things.
Yeah.
Like if I wanted to watch Stranger Things, you'd be like, okay, fine. Yeah, but it's like very rare. Like there's like very rare that you actually want to watch something. So,
but would I ever like want to go with my friends to like watch the movie?
No.
Yeah.
I think it's discomfort. Like it's uncomfortable to watch a new thing because there's a risk and you don't know the characters, and that level of discomfort is enough to stop you from watching something new. Whereas like something that's old, like you know that you're gonna like, that's nostalgic, you might watch that for like a little bit. Also, clips are lower friction to you. That's why you watch everything in clips these days. Like I would, if I'm gonna watch a movie, I'm gonna watch the movie. I'm having a good experience. To you, it's just the clips are enough.
I don't watch the clips.
Don't you watch like Avengers clips sometimes? Like,
no.
Dude, I remember at our old house, I used to walk into the room and you'd be like, I watched Spider-Man 1 in clips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's because I didn't want to Apple Pay $5 on the YouTube app for
like you don't want to take the friction.
So I found some guy who clipped it up. Some guy clipped it up, put it into a playlist, and then just watched it there.
Like you value fun so little, you watch things on your phone. Like I would never watch something on my phone. What am I doing? Why am I going to watch something on my phone? I watch on the big TV, nice experience, nice drink, all this stuff.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, speaking of watching something, I have a Harry Potter movie night in the next couple minutes. So yeah, that's kind of funny that's how we're ending this. But I guess, do you have any recs?
Yeah, I think that's the main difference in our values, though.
Yeah.
I don't really value this type 1 fun much. In terms of recs, I read Edward Snowden's autobiography, actually. It's pretty good. It's called Permanent Record. that was interesting. Like, I would watch the documentary about that because it's interesting.
Well, I also think it progresses your goals of knowledge. I think you have a goal of knowledge.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that's partly why, but I think things that are interesting are much more fun to me and where I'm learning. Learning to me is fun. Whereas, like, kind of sitting there, you know, watching Knives Out, like, what are you learning?
Yeah. To you, I think, like, with learning is a goal of yours.
Yeah.
You have a goal to learn. That's why you think it's fun.
But yeah, that was quite interesting. Nice. It's pretty crazy how he was like 29. He was like, I'm done. Yeah. I'm giving up my life for this. Yeah.
Dude, I think they should pardon him at some point, hopefully. Because I think he really did a service to the world by whistleblowing.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to do that. Because all the intelligence agencies are like after him.
Yeah. I started listening to Shoe Dog, which is the
You haven't read that yet?
I read it like 5 years ago. You read it? Did you read it or no?
So, around that time.
Yeah, I read it in 2020. I remember it being good back then. I just thought it was like, I just wanted to revisit it because I didn't remember a lot of it. It's really good. This guy's the founder of Nike. I think he's worth like $80 billion right now or something, or 30 billion, something like that. I think it was 30 billion now, right, currently. He's like 90s right now. The first thing I thought when I was reading that book was, how does he remember conversations he had 60 years ago? Like, how does he remember this is what my dad said to me?
I feel like it's probably like a lot of
it's kind of made up, dude. Like, yeah. like,
dude, I can't remember. Like,
girl said to me.
I could not tell you 5 or 10 things our dad said to me. And this was only 10 years ago, let alone 50 to 60.
Yeah. He's like talking about when he's 23 and his dad is sitting on the couch watching TV, and he's like 90 right now. Like, how is this guy remembering?
I mean,
that's what I was thinking. The book came out. Oh, that's true.
2016. So like he was. It came out when he was 76 or 77, something like that. Yeah. I think 77 to 78. And he's talking about 55-year-old conversations. Dude, you don't remember that.
Dude, I don't know how you remember, like, my mom made this expression when my dad said these words. Like, how do you remember this stuff?
Yeah. It's just a story. It's just a scene.
Yeah. But I'm really enjoying it. I think it's really good. I'm actually, since I know a lot more about business now, I knew literally nothing about business back then. I really understand a lot more things about business now, which makes it more enjoyable and interesting to read. So, for example, back then there was no VCs. In the book, he goes like, "There's no venture capitalists. Like, how do you raise money as a business? You just take a loan from the bank. That's it. It's like every month I would take a new loan from the bank, right? He would literally just take this is how Nike operated in the early days. It was called Blue Ribbon. His strategy was, I'm going to take a loan for $2,000 from the bank. I have no money. $2,000 loan. I'm going to spend the $2,000 on Japanese shoes, right? I'm going to sell them, make $500 to $1,000 off all those sales, right? So I have $3,000 now. I'm going to spend the $3,000, or I'm going to pay back the loan of $2,000, right? I have $1,000 left over. I'm going to take another loan of like $3,000 and spend all $4,000 on shoes again. So he would have, he would, like they said the bank didn't like him because he had no equity, meaning like the balance sheet was zero at the end of all these transactions. You know what I mean? Like he just kept reinvesting and buying more and more and taking more and more loans because he had no VCs or no investors or anything. So I thought that was very interesting how he ran Nike in the early days. Also, one of the first things he did was he got this guy named Bowerman and gave him 50% of the business. His coach.
The coach.
And his coach was an influencer, like a 1960s influencer. Like he'd coached a couple of guys at the Olympics who got like gold medals, right? He was really well known, and that exponentially grew the business. And what I learned from that is like these guys are not afraid to give up equity because it grows the pie, right? Whereas like for me, I'm so terrified of giving up equity. But if I can find someone who's like really going to grow the pie, it's worth giving up equity to make that happen.
Yeah, what I remember is this Bowerman guy also really improved the product too. Like he was like experimenting with new types of shoes, and they came out with some sort of shoe that was way faster or something like that.
So what Bowerman would do, I just got to this part actually. What Bowerman would do is he would correspond with a Japanese company directly. I think it's like Onitsuwa or some Japanese company, right? He would literally like get a bunch of sample shoes. He has like 100 track athletes at a school. He would have like 20 of them try this, 20 of them try this. He would literally modify the shoes himself, send product specifications, get modifications and samples back. He would test them, he would trial them, he would track them, and he would literally be iterating on the product with the factory, right? Whereas Phil Knight was solely focused on sales and marketing. Bowerman was focused on product.
Yeah.
And the third thing was interesting is both of them were incredibly knowledgeable about shoes themselves.
Bill Bowerman.
Yeah, Bill Bowerman was, again, a world famous track athlete or coach. And then Phil Knight also was like a track athlete in college. So they both had a lot of specific knowledge about this industry, which is why they were both able to come in and crush from day one. And they had the interest and the love. Phil Knight was talking about how he was selling shoes himself door to door and like at track events, etc. And he was able to sell it way back. He was actually selling encyclopedias when he was younger. He was an encyclopedia salesman for a little bit. And he couldn't sell an encyclopedia to save his life. And he was reflecting like, why was I able to sell shoes like hotcakes when I couldn't sell encyclopedias? It's because he genuinely believed these are shoes, that these shoes are going to change the world. It's going to change the customer's life. And I love running and I want more people to run. So he had that conviction in his sales. So that was also interesting to me in terms of picking a product where you have real conviction about it.
I remember part of the book is that running like for fun and for health was kind of weird back in the day. And part of like Phil Knight and Nike kind of made it mainstream.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't that part of it, like, dude, like it used to be kind of weird to see a guy jogging on the street. Like people were like, dude, what is this guy doing?
Yeah. In fact, he told a story where like guys were running on the street, truckers would slow down and throw a beer can at their head.
Yeah.
Be like, get a horse, man. That's what they would say and speed up. Like, it was weird that people would run. So they wanted to make running cool as well.
Yeah. Bill Bowerman was married in 1936.
Bill Bowerman. Yeah. Nice. All right, I do have to go. So we'll talk to you next week. Have a good one. Yep.